Hey everybody, it's Jochen Hayden, and I'm back with the Desert Wolf versus Wirraway Ace War in the Pacific campaign. This is scenario 1 with stacking limits, and today we'll be taking a look at December 8th, 1942. We'll start off with some Coast Watchers in the Solomons. It's dark. Okay, unloading at K. We're not going to watch these too closely, there's not much to see. Sub chasers, what are they going to do? Oh, bummer. Well, I didn't think it was going to survive anyway, but that's going to finish it off. Goodbye. Yeah. Those Japanese subs, man, they're pesky. They always show up at the worst possible moment. Alright, we got a bombardment at Nauru and Island. This is going to be the standards coming in hot. Yeah, a lot of damage here to the Japanese. A lot of destroyed squads, guns, units. This is the kind of stuff that we need to permanently put the Japanese down there. Okay, more unloading at K. Some unloading at N. Same. So we're doing the Coast Watcher roundabout again. This is daytime now, and we're back in the Solomons for that. I'm sure we'll have some more unloading going on. Oh. So Empire Handle takes one shell hit, but these 8 centimeter guns do almost no damage to anything. And then continuing unloading here. This is probably just supply. Alright. We've got some harbor defense motor launches looking for a sub. The sub actually spots them and he elects not to attack because it's a waste of a torpedo taking one of these guys out. Okay, we're in the AM air operations phase now. We'll start with spotting. Hopefully we don't have to endure 1,000 sub attacks. Oh. I may have spoken too soon. We'll speed through these sweeps here. Oh, the valves are back for more damage. And the Allied carriers pulled out of town, so there's nobody here to really stop them. Oh, man. I will say this, from what I saw last turn, there's not much left to destroy, so this isn't really going to, you know, be that impactful to the Allied operations here. We may lose some troops, we may lose some supply, but it's really not going to stop anything. I think it's pretty clear that these valves are going to get in here unopposed and destroy a bunch of cargo ships. So let's go ahead and just kind of get to the end of this. Alright. So it looks like there were 4 ships there and 4 were hit. I would say 1, 2 of these are going to sink really quickly. The Wangpu and the Empire Hamble might... yeah, that's probably going to sink too. Kates? Since when did the Kates show up? This is new. These weren't here yesterday. Well, a swing and a miss for the Kates here. They attacked with torpedoes. 8 of them, and they all missed. Bummer. Way to go, Kates. You had one job, and you blew it. You had one cargo ship sitting off the coast, and you couldn't hit it. Look at that. That's a lot of bombers. He's still targeting this hex like something's gonna happen here. And it's not. You can see he's touching these units, but there's so little firepower in a lot of these Japanese bombers, it's just not hurting them. Just not a lot of damage getting done here. He's throwing everything he's got at this hex. I don't know why. Don't get it. B-17's coming in at Tagula. I'm sure we'll find a couple damaged aircraft on the ground here. Or not. This was actually a ground attack. Alright, it was targeting the ground units, not the actual airbase. So that's why we didn't hit any aircraft here. Bad weather today. Have you guys ever noticed that this game almost always has bad weather and no good weather? It's rare that you actually have clear skies. It's almost always rain, severe storms, overcast. I don't know what it is about this game that it loves bad weather. I don't know if it changes with the seasons or not. Maybe it does, but I guess I've always seen this game during wintertime. I've never gotten past it. So maybe it's just a winter thing, right? It's always raining. Well, AM phase is in the books. Japanese attacks, miscellaneous stuff. Okay, there's one. There's 2. A 3rd might go down later. A Jake. A Jake? Where'd that Jake come from? A Jake is typically shipborne. That's not to say they can't be detached and used from an island, but normally when you see Jakes, and these are Japanese patrol aircraft, they're coming off of a cruiser or like a seaplane tender ship. Another raid here. Just gonna probably finish off whatever wasn't killed first. So these aircraft are operating out of here, 100%, as far as I know. Unless they're coming out of Ponape, I don't know if they have the range to do that though. Because if they're based here, that's a lot of supply that they're eating up. Oh, I'm pretty sure the Empire Hamble's a done deal here. There it is. These two ships are... These guys are... Look at this. What is this? What is this? 8 valves releasing from 10,000 feet? Why would these dive bombers be releasing from 10,000 feet? Huh. That's weird. 10,000 feet. That's not even dive bombing. That's level bombing. I wonder why. These Kates, what are they actually attacking? Let's see if they actually hit it this time. Nope. Oh, okay. Wow. You can tell that these guys aren't training for naval bombing very well. 5,000 feet. Huh. Well, 2 bombs into that ship. Who knows if it's going to sink? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Got some bombers coming into N. Good hits on the troops. So we want to see destroyed squads. Destroyed squads, yep. Who are they attacking here? 98th Infantry Regiment. That one's taking a beating. Oh, there it goes. All right, more loading at N. Okay, here we go. Land combat. Let's see if we get something cool here. Nope. Bombardment. Yawn. Really not much to show for that. Okay. Bombardment. Just not seeing any real progress here. Although it does appear that this assault value has gone up a bit. I don't recall it being that high before. Maybe he's got another unit exchanged in there. But yeah, I don't see the allies being super degraded in that hex. Japanese bombarding on T. And they actually take more losses doing it. Japanese bombardment on K. They really should avoid this. It's not in their best interest to do that. Well, and as soon as I say that, they make a liar out of me. They, yeah, they actually chip a couple Allied units off. Japanese bombardment on R. Nothing came of that. Allied deliberate attack. I'm expecting a pretty decent result here. Yeah. It doesn't even matter that they have forts right now. It doesn't matter. And none of this matters. What matters is this. The Allies are taking almost no losses. No tank losses. And another Japanese unit destroyed. Lots of squads taken out. This is another bad day for the Japanese on K. Man, those tanks are just running amok. Allied deliberate attack on R. Man. Allied assault odds 4-1. Great adjusted. But still, the Japanese are not being reduced. They're still hanging on there. I don't even know why. I can't believe that. Well, you see this, the defender has supply. Apparently, they're not constrained by that. Man, they're still holding on there. Okay, Allied deliberate attack on T. This, I'm thinking, would go well. Yep, there it is. They take it, but, oh man. Look at this, what a waste. All these disabled aircraft were taken out when they overran the base. Look at that. Mavis. He had all kinds of aircraft on here. Alright, so I have a question. Only one unit was destroyed, right? So what happens next? Like, if there's nowhere for them to retreat to, they just stay there? I'm not understanding this mechanic of the game. Normally, if this was an Allied base, all the units would be gone. But apparently the Japanese get to survive longer. One unit was destroyed, but a number of other ones are still solvent, I guess. Yeah, I guess they get to survive, huh? Hmm. I don't really know what that is. They must not... I guess Japanese units don't really surrender, so you gotta kill them. Let's see if we get any new arrivals here. Hermitage. Karina. Subchaser PC. That's a mouthful. Okay, another training unit. Another construction unit, yep. That's all good stuff. Well, alright. That was a turn, alright. Let's look at it. Okay, we're back here. Let's take a look at the intelligence briefing. Starting with aircraft losses today. Another terrible, terrible day for the Japanese. They got swept like a pile of dust with a good broom. Japanese losses 30-3. This is 10-1 losses. Japanese lost a lot of aircraft on the ground that were destroyed when Tagula fell, and a bunch in the air. A lot of aircraft lost on the ground today due to the loss of the base, and a bunch of miscellaneous other aircraft here. The Allies, out of those 3 lost aircraft, only had 1 killed pilot. Army lost points for this turn. Very, very, very lopsided. 3 Allied points to 24 Japanese. That might have been one of the biggest lopsided Army lost points that I've seen in this campaign yet. Yeah, I'm looking at some of my past sheets here, and I don't think I've seen that kind of a Army lost point flip-flop. Speaking of flip-flop, look at all these ships that flip-flopped. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total Allied ships sunk, all near K Island here. K got finished off by a submarine just out of spite. It was going to sink anyway, but I think it was I-171 decided it wouldn't to finish the job. We do have a report of RO-68 sinking near Semarang. RO-68 near Semarang. I think Semarang's over here, right? 53. Semarang. Where is that? Where is Semarang? Okay, what's the hex on that? That's weird. 53-100. So, allegedly, a Japanese submarine sank here. I don't buy that at all. I have no idea where that intel would have come from. The rowboat 68 sinking their Semarang on the 8th of December 1942. I don't buy this at all. This looks like bad information, so I wouldn't count on this at all. All right. Let's keep going here. Plus 50 political points for Des Wolf. He didn't spend any. For the turn, the Japanese, despite the aircraft losses and the loss of the base and the army loss points, still managed to pull out 67 points this turn, bringing their win ratio up just a little bit to 1.616. Hardly anything. Okay, let's take a look at Combat Reporter here. We'll start on some of the sea activity. We had a Japanese sub picked up near Trivandrum, near Ceylon. Nothing came of that. And then the I-171 put a torpedo in the case and ended its misery. That ship was going to sink anyway, but now it's really dead. One bombardment here at N, Nauru Island, by the standard class battleships. Now, I'm only seeing one Kingfisher acting as a spotter. I wonder if the rest of them have spotter planes aboard. Let's take a look at that. Oh, they do. Recon. Oh, they all have them, but some are, not all of them are set to recon. Okay, and this guy's set to night. So I guess there's more than one reconnaissance plane available for that. So, okay. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, we'll look at some ground combat briefly. Tagula Island did fall to the Allies this turn. A pretty smashing defeat of the Japanese here. Almost 10-1 casualties here, a little bit over, and a lot of aircraft destroyed on the ground because Wirraway waited way too long to pull them out. So these were disabled aircraft that could not get repaired in time, and they were destroyed when the base fell. Our island had another deliberate attack, and just a grindy affair here. These units that are on the island are still alive. I don't know how that is. At K Island, another excellent attack by the Allies. Despite the odds, despite all the numbers here, they are just slicing and dicing the Japanese troops up here. One additional unit was destroyed. Almost 20-1 casualties. It's the tanks. They're just going through and ripping and tearing right here. And a couple bombardments in China. Nothing else on the ground. Let's see here. Air attacks. We had... Oh, yes. Day 2 of the Japanese here at K Island, right? They've got the Vals, they've got Kates, and they've got escort aircraft. So I don't know what these are definitely indigenous to the island right now. I don't know how long he intends to leave them there though, because this is really dangerous, leaving these guys in here that long. Because if the island falls, any aircraft that are on the island are going to be lost as well. So what he's doing is he's using them to kill all of the supporting ships that are currently there, which was pretty smart. So what he knows here, and I'm talking about Wirraway, is that he knows that his carriers are nearby, and he knows that Desert Wolf knows that. So Desert Wolf has pulled all of his big, heavy ships and the carriers that could support and protect shipping at K Island away. So he took that opportunity, capitalizing on the fear of the KB coming in, to move these aircraft here to bomb these ships, and he basically wiped out everything that was left around the island. So it was pretty smart, and he's got a veil of protection with the risk of the Kido Butai coming in here. How long he wants to play this game, though, I don't know. So at some point, he's gonna probably push his luck too far and maybe overcommit like he did on Tagula and lose the aircraft. So I don't know how long he's gonna do that. We saw the usual B-17 operations on the infantry on Nauru. And again, another very busy bombing effort on the troops near Changte in China. Let's look at that again. I don't understand why he keeps doing this. He's not getting anywhere with this. I mean, these units are not depleting much. The disruption is minimal. It's been demonstrated time and time and time again that all the ground attacks in this hex are absolutely unsuccessful. I've seen it about 10 different times in this campaign so far where Wirraway has taken heavy losses and accomplished nothing attacking here, but he keeps bombing it and he keeps doing it. There's got to be another way around here. I just don't get. It's like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I'm not seeing any results here. I'm not saying that Wirraway's insane, by the way. I just think it's a waste of effort here. That's all I'm saying. He's not insane. Oh boy. Okay, let's look at the SIGINT. We had some radio transmissions detected out here. That's probably just a ship moving around, convoy or something that's not of any serious threat to anybody. Again, Paramashiro Jima keeps having radio transmissions. Let's see if we can detect anything from that. Nope. All we know is that he's got a big air capacity. He's got aircraft and ships there. We don't know anything else about it. But I believe this is the linchpin to the defense of the Kuril Islands, because this base here can accommodate a lot of aircraft should he elect to move them up this way. So, you know, this is something we need to keep watching. I believe it's becoming increasingly unlikely that any sort of offensive operations will be launched from here. But defensive-wise, this is a very ominous strong point in this island chain. So it's something that I would like Desert Wolf to keep an eye on. I wish he'd kind of poke around here. I would love to see what's here, but I don't think he's got the time or the assets to go messing around with this place right now. So we'll just have to leave it alone. Bunch of located stuff here. You can take a look. Nothing really stood out to me other than the fact that we've got a piece of the 90th Infantry Regiment at Rapal. The rest of it, as you know, is at Nauru. And we also see that there's a Japanese Air Force company at Wake Island. I'm sure there's more than that even, but that's just what we can see right now. All right, let's get into SIGINT. Arrivals. I noticed this thing. PC 1077. It's the Subchaser PC 1077. So I want to know what kind of ship's got two different call signs to it. Let's see. PC 1077. There it is. It's one of these things. Now this actually looks like a really capable ship. Okay. It's got an anti-submarine rating of 4. Pretty decent speed. That could escort convoys really good. And a pretty decent range too. This is roughly equivalent to one of the Commonwealth corvettes, right? So this is not a half decent ship. It'd be good to get these into action if you can. Definitely worth their. Ooh, wow! Look at this conversion. In June 1943, they get more ASW stuff. And then if you turn them into a Minesweeper, they still have a pretty decent. Oh wow! I like this conversion. You get more range out of it, and you still keep this ASW rating of 4. Ooh, this AM might be the ticket here. That's cool. I need to look at those a little more. Anyway, what else we got? Talked about arrivals. Look at combat. There you go. We see that the Allied forces did in fact capture Tagula, and that's over here in the Solomons. Let me turn this off. We got this base now, but the Japanese are still on the island, so we're going to have to deal with that. Intel. Batavia expands airfield to size 9. That's just going to make it even harder to take back Java when it's time. That's a big air capacity. With the airfield size of 9, you have unlimited amount of administration. You can basically fly as many aircraft off as you can support. And you know, when you have aviation air capacity of 8 or more, it doubles your indigenous aviation support. So if you had 100 aviation support units there, it now turns into 200. So 2 for the price of 1. So a size 9 airfield is like the goal. That's what you would like to build to whenever you can. But remember, you can only go +3 over the standard the maximum normal capacity, which would be 7. See it in parentheses here in this call out. The 7 is what you can normally build it to. You can build 3 higher than that at increased cost of supply and time. It gets, exponentially more difficult to do as you go up. Okay, repairs. A couple things I noticed here. We have the Marblehead at Calcutta. Remember, that was damaged during the Keto Butai raid in Akyab a couple weeks ago. Apparently, the Marblehead is about as good as it's going to get. So any additional damage here, this is going to have to be sent over to Colombo. Or, if not, actually, I don't even think it needs to go to Colombo. I think he just needs to take this and move it into Shipyard. There you go. The Shipyard can't support this ship. It's got a maximum repair capacity of 10,000 tons. So, yeah, moving... Obviously, the buttons I'm clicking here aren't going to count towards anything because these aren't the turn files, per se. But, yeah, this can be finished off here or sent over back to Colombo. Also, we see that the West Virginia has been fixed at Pearl. And the West Virginia is here. Looks like it just got... Oh, you know what? I think this is one of the Pearl Harbor original ships that were damaged. It's probably just now getting repaired because it hasn't even had a first upgrade yet. So that's pretty cool. This upgrade will take 18 days, and it like almost doubles the anti-aircraft firepower. So I'm guessing he'll want to make this upgrade first, and he can send this out to the Marshalls or Gilberts to add to the Malem over there. Malem? Is that a word? Okay. Unknown. Look at this. 13 C-47s are transporting supplies to 1st Australian B. I'm pretty sure that's going to be somewhere over here. 1st Australian B. Nope, that ain't it. 1st Australian B. All right, so we have C-47s probably coming out of... Well, they're coming out of somewhere. Right here. These guys. These guys are supplying 104, 137. That's it. So they're basically supplying Tagula, the troops there. But now that there's a base, we'll just start dumping the supply into the base. All right, let's just talk about this turn. We'll make it as quick as possible. I feel like I've been talking a long time. In China, it's a stalemate. Nothing new is happening here that I can see. Just the usual bombardments and a massive air assault on this hex. To what end, I don't know. And some bombardments up here. Nothing else is happening. Burma, same old thing. No real changes right now. I'm waiting to see something change here. Not quite sure what that's going to be. It is pretty interesting to me that we see a Japanese sub somehow stuck through this, all of this. And, you know, I think these Hudsons are going to have to deal with that. See that? Pilots are definitely up to the task. This sub better get out of here. Taking a peek around here in the Dutch East Indies, formerly known as. We're not really seeing anything of note. No carriers are spotted to my knowledge. Yeah, I'm not seeing much of anything happening here right now, out this way. We'll take a quick look at the Solomons. So we had victories on both Tagula and Rosso, or T and R, respectively. But the Japanese troops are still there. Normally, like I said, if this was an Allied game, if you took this base and there were Allied troops there, they would just surrender and quit. But I guess the Japanese don't surrender. They don't have that in their blood. So you have to just kill them outright. And I think it's going to be a slow grind to get these guys off these islands, because there's nowhere for them to retreat to, so they're not going to. They're just going to sit there and die, but take a lot of people down with them before they go. I guess that's the only way to really eliminate Japanese troops from these islands. And I guess there's a precedent for that, right? There was quite a few Japanese soldiers that lived on many years after the Japanese war ended in the Pacific, right? I know of one myself. I've been to Guam with the Air Force some years ago, and I toured the location. I think it's Telefofo Falls, where there was one Japanese soldier that survived into the 70s before he surrendered, right? He was living in caves and just living off the land. I saw all that stuff. I guess that's possible out here too, right? These troops, even though they lost their base, they flee into the hills, into the jungle, and then you got to root them out slowly. And there's a historical precedent for that, and I think the game is trying to model these troops scattering into the hills, and you got to hunt them down one at a time. Now, you know us Americans and us, allies guys, we don't like to do that. We just surrender and hope for the best. But these guys don't have that in them. All right. So at Kusaie, aka K Island, we know that the Japanese have that bomber and fighter presence that basically squad wiped all the remaining ships that were here. That was pretty smart of him to do that. And again, he's using the threat of the KB as a shield to allow this. On the island itself, however, these guys are doing just fine. Plenty of supply. Disruption's a bit high, but it doesn't seem to be hurting anything too much. The Japanese troops are taking huge losses every time there's an attack. So my guess is that with this disruption getting kind of ridiculously high here, Desmo's probably going to throttle back for a couple days and reconstitute his troops and try again. But that's perfectly fine, because the Japanese troops here are in no condition to really put up any fight anyway. Our Nauru, the only thing that's happening is an unloading of supplies here. I think we're a little safer at Nauru than at K, because there's so little supply and the base is so wrecked that he couldn't fly these aircraft in here even if he wanted to. So Kusaie doesn't have the damage that Nauru does, so he's able to operate the aircraft out of here still. That's not the case here. So while these guys are still having supply issues, they're still alive, and they're just going to have to wait for more help to show up. They're not strong enough to carry the attack themselves, but they're okay enough that they're not going to get taken out by the Japanese garrison that's actually worse off than they are. Okay, so now what I want to talk about is the situation with the ships. So as you can see, Deswolf has now pulled all ships out of K Island, and he's probably about to pull them out of Nauru as well. We see that the battleships are now retreating back to Tabatuea. The R-class battleships are already back, so he's pulling these guys away because he knows that KB is coming, possibly this way. All these ships, if you take a look at them, What are these guys doing? I have no idea what these guys are doing, but they're not consequential. All the big stuff is getting pulled away. Look, 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 look. Are you seeing this? He's starting to pull a lot of ships out of the area. And that's smart. The carriers, right? The Hornet, Enterprise, Yorktown are on their way down to Suva for now, which is a safe harbor far, far away from where the KB can get to them easily. The Lexington, Saratoga, and Wasp are heading down to Nemea. And from there, it wouldn't be hard at all to recombine these two to make one strong striking force. So, in the event that it was absolutely necessary that the Allied carriers go up against the Japanese ones, these guys are moving in the same general direction so that they can recombine and form one cohesive unit if it needs to. So I really like what Desert Wolf is doing here. He's pulling these guys out of there. What's this? Oh, the Preston, still alive. This is the guy that got hit by the Knicks a few days ago. But yeah, you can see that all these ships are well on the way, and I would say that at this point, with the exception of the ships that already sank here and a few not inconsequential ships here, Desert Wolf has done a great job evacuating the immediate touch areas of the KB right now. So if and when they show up, the Allies are already gone. I was kind of concerned that they might get caught up in something, but I think we've seen enough movement now to know that that's not going to happen at this point. So good job, Desert Wolf, for having a similar timetable as mine as far as when you expect the KB to show up. And from there, you know, we just got to see where they go. But I think Wirraway may be a little frustrated when it gets down to Nauru or K or Tagula. If that's where he's going to go, he's going to find no Allied shipping there whatsoever because they've already pulled him out. So then the question is, what do you do with the KB after that? Do you take it back to Japan? Do you leave it in Singapore? Do you stay at Rabaul? What do you do? I have no idea. So I am looking forward to finding out what the answer is going to be. First, I want to see the KB show up. I want to see them show up and where they're going to go. Next, I want to see what they're going to do after that. It's all up in the air to me because all the juicy targets have pulled out, and I don't think he wants to drive Kido Butai into the realm of all of this Allied air cover. It could get a little messy at that point. There's a lot of fighters in these islands here. Probably enough to maybe not destroy the KB, but enough to take out enough of their best pilots and planes that it may be not a worthwhile trade. So let's just keep watching this. This is now we're going into the 9th of December turn. So let me end this video now, and we'll get queued up on the 9th of December. And hopefully within a turn or two, we're going to get some clarity as to where the Japanese are at and where they're going. So as always, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Liking it if you do. Commenting, always, I love the comments, either on Discord or here on the videos. Leave your comments, ask your questions, and I'll answer them as best I can. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.